Okay, all right. It's around 2:30 or thereabouts around the time I said I would try this. This is experiment number three. Experiment number three, where I'm gonna do some live Linux for those of you who might actually be interested in this. And if you're not, well, what can I say? This is experiment number three. All right. First of all, let me get rid of OBS here so that you can be taking a look at my desktop. Now, I'm going to be working again today from my virtual machine as opposed to my typical Linux desktop. My Linux desktop is this one over here with these cute dinosaur guys, these big cutie dinosaur guys. But this is actually what I can show you over here. Now, I made a couple of changes to the virtual machine since yesterday. Now, because I installed it, I am now booting off the hard disk drive. So under the virtual machine information on AQEMU, I am booting off the HDD. All right. The other thing I've done is I've changed from the Visa graphic card to QXL. And finally, because the machine seems to be running a little bit slow, I've got like 12 gigabytes on this notebook computer that I'm using at the moment. So I do have like room to add some extra memory, but I decided to boost it from 1 gigabyte to 2 gigabytes. So those are the three changes. Boot off the HDD so that I don't boot off the CD-ROM each time. QXL for my graphic card, which means I can access it using some external graphical client. And then finally over here on the, where the hell am I? Oh, there we go. Where the heck am I? Did I say hell? I didn't say hell. Anyway, there we go, 2 gigabytes. All right, so let's go back to Fluffy Bunny, which is my machine here. First thing we're going to do is I'm just going to go to the back here and I'm going to configure desktop because, I've got the Debian background and, maybe the Debian background is like totally cool. There's nothing wrong with the Debian background, but you might decide, well, I can do this one over here. And I've got a little bit more color, but let's just say for the fun of it that I say get new wallpapers. All right. What this will do is it'll go out to the KDE Plasma repo out there, basically, which has a whole pile. There are lots of things you can do here. You can do this with things like desktop colors, desktop themes, but right now we're cursors for that matter. Right now I've got the little white cursor. You can have a black cursor, a gold cursor, all sorts of things like that. But right now I'm just looking at a background. Okay, so I'm going to say let's go by rating. In other words, the things that people thought was. Look at that. Massirun. Oh man, that was bad. Let me try that again. Missourina Lake, Lavaredo Heights, wherever that is. I don't know where that is. Maybe somebody can actually tell me where that is, but I really don't know where that is. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to say install that one, and I hit the install button. And I wait for it to installing. And in fact, I can actually do multiple ones over here. So Moraine Lake, I always love this one. This one is one of my favorites, I have to admit. It really is. The tree on the island is kind of nice. And I love Lake Powell. Lake Powell is just gorgeous. These are all ones that I really, really like. All right, so I'm going to say close. And now, if you take a look, I have 3 new wallpapers that I can add here. So let's just go with Lake Powell. All right, go to Lake Powell, and I'm going to say apply. And then I'm going to say OK, and there you go. This is how you change the background on your desktop. And I know I said I'm going to install a different desktop environments, but I just want to show you how to customize this. This is the KDE Plasma desktop, and we can customize them all. But the other thing that's kind of cool too is let's say that I want, I'm going to add a widget. All right, desktop widgets. Now I tend to like my desktop really, really clean, as in I don't like a lot of icons on my desktop. I'm funny that way, okay? And of course we can download new widgets and so forth. But let's go up here and I'm going to say search weather forecast. All right, that's the widget that I want. I'm going to drag it onto my desktop here, and I'm just going to close this right now, and then I can right click on that. I can go weather forecast settings, and I'm going to look for a workstation. Now I'm going to look for Toronto. And I'm going to say search, and it's going to find me, let's use Toronto Pearson International Airport. Hey, we'll use that one. All right, we'll use that one. Apply. All right, and then we'll say OK. And now I've got a nice little widget that's on my desktop that I can drag and move wherever I want on the desktop. And it gives me my weather forecast, and I can say lock widgets, and now I have that locked down. Okay, that's how. So you can add things to the desktop, but if you actually want to mess up your pretty Lake Powell desktop with a weather app, but there you go. Now, what I want to show you today is first of all, let me make a confession. I love KDE. I love KDE Plasma a lot. It's probably my favorite desktop of all the ones that I've played with over the years. But that doesn't mean I don't like any of the other ones as well. I happen to like Mate. I happen to like GNOME. And for those of you out there who are big GNOME fans, okay, if you're big GNOME fans, let me just tell you, I have a confession to make. My confession to make is I happen to really, really love GNOME 3. I know. Some of you are going out there, GNOME 3. It was the bastard child of the GNOME world. But I happen to like it, okay? All right. Sorry, can't do a sudo because this is... Actually, I can add myself to the sudoers file. Maybe I should do that at some point. But sudo root, because of course it's Debian as opposed to Ubuntu. And my password is, come on, remember people, super secret. Okay? It's only for demonstration purposes. It's not my real password, okay? I just want to make that clear. All right, so... Let's make sure that we've got the latest sources, apt update. So I'm going to say apt update. Now, again, we can do this through the graphical software installer that I showed you yesterday, okay? So we can do it that way, or I can do it just this way. But let me just make sure that all the files are updated here. I'll show it to you graphically. That's right, I don't have the CD-ROM. It doesn't matter anyway. Applications, did I put it? System. See, the beautiful thing about this is you get to see me screw up when I mess up here. It's like, the guy has to figure it out as he goes along, all right? And I feel like I'm figuring it out as I go along here. So let's take a look here. Discover closed unexpectedly. Well, that's not nice. All right, so we'll go apt install, and there are a bunch of different desktops here. So let me first of all just do this, okay? I will go apt cache, because I'll figure it afterwards, but I want to show you this. Apt cache search desktop. All right. So there are a bunch of different desktop environments. All right. And maybe I should actually say environment here, but let me just grep for mate. We'll do mate. Whoops, moat. The moat in God's eye. No, mate. All right, there we go. You'll notice that there was flying off the screen there. Up at the top, there was something called TaskMate Desktop. Okay, so there are desktop environments, and I believe that in Debian, if I remember correctly, they all say task if you want to install the whole thing. There we go, task. All these different versions of desktop environments. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the mate desktop. So apt, install. And I'm going to go mate, task, mate. It helps if I can type, doesn't it, huh? Install task mate desktop. And look at that! 647 megabytes of additional disk space will be used. 177 newly installed packages. All right, let's make this thing happen. Let's make it work. What did I do the other day when I started something that was going to take quite a while? I played a game. I suppose I could play another game here. But I'm going to show you instead. I'm going to go, while this is happening, because it's happening in the background, I'm going to say new window. Okay, and I'm going to go up here. Now, I could do this all graphically. I'm not going to do that today just because I'm in a hurry. I just want to do this quickly. But I'm going to go su root, which I've already done. Super secret. All right, and I go vi/et. Oh, there we go. Something's happening. All right, here's the thing. All right. You know, at the top, when I started this, actually, I started it without showing you the login screen. I'll show you the login screen. But what happens at the beginning is there is a display manager. The display manager is basically, or the login manager. So the display manager comes up and it says, login, give me your password. That's really what it does. They all look a little tiny bit different, okay? The one that's... So it's basically saying you can only have one version of these display managers at any given time. So I'm going to take the default here, SDDM, and I'm going to say OK, and then it's going to go on and continue installing things. Okay, so the display manager is basically, for all intents and purposes, the login screen at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to make sure that I can do a sudo in the style of Ubuntu. All right, I'm going to go here, root, and I'm going to do something terribly evil, yank, put YYP, and I'm going to change root here to Marcel, because that is my login ID there, and I'm going to make it so that Marcel can do a sudo anything, all right? It's me. I understand that I can do terrible things, you know, but but I'm going to do it that way anyway. Whoops. Colon WQ. Yes, for those of you out there who are curious, there are two kinds of people in the Linux world. There are those who use VI, and there are those who use other things. I know you thought I was going to say something entirely different, didn't you? But no, it's V. I'm a Vi guy. Okay, I'm a Vi guy. So colon WQ exclamation point. And now if I exit out of here and I go sudo sudo hyphen, and if I do sudo, it just wants the password from Marcel. You see? So now I can become root just by typing super secret. I don't have to type su. No. Okay. Sudo. Let's do sudo, except that's already running in the background. Well, I don't know, sudo top. Just making something up there. There we go. It's got my password, sudo top. There we go. And now we're running top, which is my process manager, as the root user. And this is continuing to install down here. It's going reasonably fast, but we're talking 177 packages. Is this the part where I should say, okay, since we're looking at top, which shows us what all the resources the system are taking up, you can take a look up here and see there's my 2 gig of RAM. This is how much of it is free at the moment. Some of it is buffered. That means it's technically still available to the system. That's memory that's being moved back and forth in the system. But you know what? There's one that I like a little tiny bit better than this. So, I can't do apt. I was going to install something else, but I can't do it. I can't do it because apt is already running. All right, let me see if I can find another process manager that's down here. There's the beauty of doing this live, because like I said, you can watch me mess up. You can watch me say, oh, look, we're going to do this. And as it turns out, it doesn't work because system cleaner? Well, that's interesting. Text to speech, not really interested in that. Screen magnifier, scientific calculator, pop-up notes. I'm looking over all applications. Let's go back to system and see maybe it's under system. It won't be under settings. System terminal. There we go. A graphical system monitor. So you get top, okay, and KDE is K-Sysguard. There it is. So for those of you who might be coming from the presumably friendlier graphical world of Windows, here's a graphical version of the system monitor. So if you take a look, I mean, if you really come right down to it, if you want to take a look, there's not a whole heck of a lot of difference what you see here and what you see when you're taking a look over here, except that it's done in a way that is presumably, I guess it's prettier. I mean, it's got nice colors and graphs and things moving up and down. So I suppose that's pretty. But it is an alternative to just doing the command line stuff. But people who have been using this for a long time will tend to do things like this. I want to run that. htop is not installed. I can't install it because if I go sudo apt install, I'm going to show you. I'm going to make it break for you, okay? It's like, whoa, could not get lock because you're currently already installing stuff. You fool. You can't do this twice in a row. All right, so there we go. We've got memory swap history. We're not really swapping memory in and out at the moment, so it really doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot. The swap is memory that's already been set aside, but it's not there. Network traffic, not a whole heck of a lot. CPU is running pretty hot and heavy at the moment, my virtual CPU, because I'm busy installing hundreds of packages. Oh, is that 177? I guess that's not really hundreds. Hey there, Dean Lord. How the heck are you? Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what you're doing. Oh, bring up Steam in the background. And pay attention to the chat. There's an idea. Okay, actually, I am paying attention to the chat because for the first time I've decided to take a look and see what's happening on the other side. So I will type and say, hello. Yeah, I'm supposed to log in and sign in. Well, thank you, Dean Lord. I appreciate that. All right, so I do have another screen up, so I'm going to start paying attention to it. I put it up, but I didn't. Sorry about that. Didn't seem like you were out there. You were there. Yeah, I'm there. I apologize. I wasn't looking at the other screen. I actually brought up 2 screens with the express purpose that I would actually pay some attention to what was happening on the other one. But of course, I was not doing that. So don't be sorry. It's my fault. I'm the guy who fired this thing up, who didn't bother to go and take a look at the chat screen. So mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. All right? I apologize. I'm sorry. You're welcome. I promise to look at the other screen every once in a while, okay? All right, all right. This is, like I said, this is the part where, oh, there we go, there we go. It's done, it's done, it's installed. Gee, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. Okay, so now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to go back and show you that I can actually install another package now. There we go, sudo apt install htop. Hey, remember the other package, top? Remember what that looked like? I'll show it to you again in just a second here. Actually, I'll show it to you over here. Top. Oops. T-O-P, not T-O-P-P, T-O-P. And let's go htop over here. See, look how much prettier htop is. It's still graphical. It's still graphical. It still shows you my CPU, my memory, all that lovely stuff, the number of tasks I've got running. But it's so much prettier than the other one. By the way, if you're gonna, put me up against the wall and say which one do you like best, I love htop. I install htop on every new machine that I install because this is my favorite process monitor because it's pretty and it's beautiful and I love it and it makes me happy and warm all inside. All right, Q. Let's close that down. Let's Control D, or if you want, you can also type exit, or you can just type Control D, which is what I did there. All right, so let's log out of this desktop, leave, and I'm going to say log out, end session. Realistically, given the number of packages that I've installed, I should probably shut it down. So let's shut it down, and then we'll reboot it back up, because I did install a whole heck of a lot of packages here. And it would be good to be nice and clean. So there we go. There's my AQEMU, and I'm going to push the little play button down here, Fluffy Bunny. As I add more machines here, we can have all sorts of things. CentOS machine, maybe possibly even a Android machine. You thought I was going to say Windows, didn't you? All right. Here we go. Let's fire it up. The GNU Linux, Advanced Debian GNU Linux. Here we go, booting up. And here we go, def clean. Here we're going into the graphical screen, Fluffy Bunny, and whoops. Oh, there we are up there. Plasma, and now I'm going to go to Mate instead, okay? So there's my desktop, my chooser. This is my keyboard layout, but I only have the one keyboard layout configured. But Plasma is with the default session that I was logged into, but I'm going to go to Mate this time, okay? M-A-T-E. And my password is, come on, you know it by now, And I'm asking that because, of course, I'm not sure that I remember it. Super secret. Away we go. And, bum-ba-de-bum. We are booting up into a completely different desktop environment. There we go. This is the Mate desktop. You remember the K that was down here, or the KDE start? It's gone. It's not there anymore. We've got some icons on the desktop, and you know how I feel about icons in the desktop. Let's change the desktop background. Not that there's anything wrong with the default Debian desktop environment. Oh, let's go space. Space, the final frontier. Oh, by the way, this is actually one of those things that's interesting. You know how over on the KDE Plasma desktop, I would click something and then I would click apply. You notice that here it just sort of happens on the fly. See, I just switch it and there we go. It just goes immediately to whatever background I happen to be looking at. I don't have to go apply to make it happen. I just click the screen. Let's go back to my space screen. Space screen. I'm going to say close. So there we go. So things are a little bit different here. I mean, if we want, we can, move icons around on the desktop. Those of you coming again from the Windows world are going to find this not all entirely surprising. But let's click applications up here and you'll see that things are in some ways a little bit similar, but in some ways fairly different. Places are things like your desktop information, like my desktop folder, pictures, music. Obviously, if I click on any of these guys, double click, there's nothing in here right now. Because obviously I haven't done anything there. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything in that respect. But that's my file manager. That is the default Mate file manager, and it's called Kaja. Kaja. In the GNOME world, there's one called Nautilus. And the one in the KDE world, Plasma, is called Dolphin. And in fact, let me show you something interesting. So there's the manager. Just because you've loaded up a completely different desktop environment doesn't mean you can't actually run the things from other desktops. So I'm going to go Alt F2 to bring up the run. By the way, this is practically universal. It's not, I won't say that it's 100% true in every desktop environment, but if you type Alt F2, you can type in the command that you want to run. Or of course, I could go down into the application menu up there and find it. In fact, let me just cancel that and go up there for you, and I can go, accessories, and in accessories. Is it under accessories? See, I have to figure this out as I go along here. This is terrible. This is terrible. System tool. There we go. Dolphin. See? So that's the file manager from KDE, from the Plasma desktop. So if I click that, now we fire up Dolphin, which looks a little bit similar, but of course you can tell is actually we're using obviously the same desktop theme at the moment. But it does look a little bit different than what you have in KDE. By the way, speaking of theme, okay, let's go over here in Preferences. And I'm going to go over in Personal Preferences. And Preferred Application. Oh, there we go. Look and Feel. Sorry. Look and Feel. Appearance. We can change the way that the desktop looks, again, on the fly. So all these little widgets, the little X in the corner, the maximize, minimize button, all those sorts of things, they can be changed on the fly. So you can find something that you like a little bit better. Blackbird. Ooh, let's take a look at Blackbird. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know that I want to stick with that all day. Green submarine. Who comes up with these things anyway? Green submarine. Oh, well, let's go with green submarine, just for the halibut. All right, let's go with the green submarine. Although, again, we can install, additional desktop type environments or desktop themes, but I'm not going to do that right now. So close that. So as you can see, I can run Dolphin, which is the KDE file manager, or I can run Kaja, which is the one from Mate. Okay, let's go back up to the Mate desktop again, and I'm going to wrap this up in about another 5 minutes. Okay, I don't want to keep these too long. I want these to be, this is stuff that you can do. This is stuff that's reasonably fun, but system preferences, as you saw, look and feel, other administration control center, the Mate configuration tool. And this, by the way, will get you to everything in one place. I mean, we can go to up here, we went into preferences and so forth, but if you go into the Mate tool, you can change, the look and feel of various things from here without having to go through each individual one. All right, so that might be something that you want to be able to do instead. Screensaver. Does anybody still use Screensaver? And of course, the KDE settings are here too, which is kind of cool. So if I go into the KDE system settings, it brings those up, but of course using the theming, the look and feel that we set up in Mate over here, all right? So that's the control center part of it. Places is basically resources that you have available on your system. Your desktop environment, the computer itself, a floppy disk, if there was such a thing. Obviously, I don't have one, but I could create a virtual floppy disk. Mate search tool. I don't have anything interesting to look for on the system at the moment, so let's go Plasma. No files found. I don't have anything in my there's nothing in my desktop at the moment, so it really doesn't. There's nothing to search there right now. And then of course the application menu. Oh, by the way, notice that one of the other things I did by changing the look and feel. See the way that things just sort of fade in? That's also part of the look and feel. How does this stuff actually work? Educational applications. Most of the stuff is Libre Office. Remember the games that I installed in the last one. Graphics. Digicam, as I pointed out. I'll do a whole thing on just Digicam, if you like, which is the photo management software in KDE. It really is kind of awesome, honestly. I have made Image Viewer. GNU Image Manipulation Program. That's the KDE. I was going to say KDE. That's the Linux version of Photoshop. I work in the Linux world enough that I actually forget the names of the big, giant monster pieces of software that exist out there. Internet tools here. Aggregator is an RSS news feed reader. Firefox, obviously. Mail reader. Copete is a multi-protocol instant messaging client, so you can chat to your friends on MSN and on Hangouts and whatever else. Office, the big thing about Office, as far as most people are concerned, is going to be Libre Office, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Office. You've got your, the equivalent of Excel, which is going to be Calc. Let me just go back in here for a second. And I can spend some time on that as well if you want at some point. In fact, I may do that anyway. Calc, obviously, is the equivalent of Excel. Draw, is there an equivalent for Microsoft Office for Draw? Do you know if there is? I don't know. I don't know. Impress is the equivalent of PowerPoint, so doing a PowerPoint presentation, and LibreOffice Writer is going to be the equivalent of Word. By the way, I've written 6 books in the Moving to Linux series, including 5 in the Moving to Linux series, and then of course Linux System Administration: A User's Guide, which was my first book from Addison Wesley. And it was specifically an administration book, but I wrote those books using largely either OpenOffice or LibreOffice in the later books. So they are obviously excellent word processing, Office packages, because that is what I was using. I'll do some coverage of sound and video type apps and so forth. But I have to say that my favorite package, and in fact, let's go back up here and go to Applications, System Tools, Discovered. What's Mate's software installer? I actually don't know what Mate's software installer is. Universal Access is not where I'm looking at the moment. Accessories. Let's go to accessories here. Actually, maybe it's under System. Administration, Synaptic Package Manager. That's what's included in Mate. All right, so let's go to Synaptic. What's my password? Come on. Super secret. That's the one that I use for you guys, okay? Yes, I know that package manager installs, blah, blah, blah. I know all about that stuff. Thank you so much. What was I going to look for in here? Oh, yeah, multimedia applications. Thank you for reminding me, multimedia applications. Oh, there we go, multimedia. There we go. And of course, it's going to list a whole bunch of multimedia applications. There are some that I think are really, really cool that I should spend some time on. There's so much stuff here. There just is. But I'm going to say Amarok, mark for installation. And it's going to tell me all the other packages that it wants to install. And I'm going to say, yes, please go ahead and do this for me. Just go ahead and do it. And now I'm going to say apply all changes. And show details. Show me what you're doing. Apply. These are all the pages. There we go. Show individual files. You want to see what's actually happening when it's installing stuff? Look, these are all the packages that it's installing. It's really easy. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, billions and billions. No, there aren't billions, but there are thousands and thousands of packages that are free for you to download and install. Honestly, I mean, run a Linux desktop. You will never regret it. You just won't. You won't, honestly. And then you can free yourself from the man, Wash your hands. Anyway, close. So the Synaptic Package Manager is the equivalent of the Discover package that was included with the Plasma desktop on the other side. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. And we're going to wrap it up in just a second. But just to show you, now if I go into Applications and I go into Sound and Video, there's Amarok. See? It's that simple. You install something, it shows up in your other desktop. And I'll just fire it up. And this is where we're going to wrap it up for now. But, question. Would you like to? Sure, why not? Why the heck not? So we'll do Amarok, but just so that you know, I want you to remember this. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Do this over on Twitch here. I'm also going to upload all these things over to YouTube. So if you're a YouTube person and you want to do that, then go to YouTube. On YouTube, I am youtube.com/freethinkeratlarge. I have an official channel name. That's mine. Anyway, and I do have a whole section on cooking with Linux, but I also have a whole pile of gaming videos on there as well. So I have cooking with Linux. I have gaming videos. I play war games. I do all sorts of crazy things. So you can check out my other videos that I do. Please subscribe. Push that subscribe button here. Push the subscribe button here. And while you are at it, also, you might want to go over to Twitter. Twitter.com/ no, it's not Freethinker at Large, it's Woofdal, which is writer in Freethinker at Large. Woofdal, if you want to hear, if you want to hear the, my mental farts. Am I allowed to say that? Or whatever it is that comes out of my brain at any given moment. You can check it out over on Twitter as well. So, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to me on YouTube, and you know what? We'll do this again at a later time here on Twitch. And if this is useful for anybody and we can build up the number of people watching this thing, maybe I'll make this a regular event. At the moment, it's just experiment number 3. So, see you later. OBS Studio coming up. And I'm going to hit the stop streaming button. Bye.